I born in Tibet, but there are subtle circumstances that I had to leave my country because in my country we are not allowed or able to practice Dharma that we had learned. So we had no possibility to practice the teaching that I received from my master. I had to leave my country and I made the journey towards India. And second motivation was, of course, my guru, His Holiness, was in India. So for that I came India to visit him actually. I had a great influence in my path by Tara because in my astrology sign they had told me that I have life only until 42. So for that reason I had started practicing White Tara. We believe that if you practice White Tara in a very genuine way, in a very good way, that it will give you a great blessing. So we said that a special blessing is about the realization on your path, and other the blessing by Tara, then you can get the long life, good health, and your aging will get stopped. In my own experience, I had a great influence because by practicing Tara, I receive all the benefits. So that is why, as my own life experience, I tell people, I explain people, if you practice Tara in a right way, if you follow Tara instruction with your genuine heart, with the altruistic behavior, definitely she will help you. She will help you in the path of practice. If you practice Tara, White Tara, that will be very benefit in your way of your practice of your Dharma and also in your daily life. The Buddhist practitioner, we believe that there are three different types of suffering that humans are having, or you can say in samsara, the suffering of changement, and specific suffering. So these three suffering, it not created by external world. It had been created by within ourselves, because in ourselves we have this afflictive emotions, which we say the three poison. When humans start using the lots of energy on the afflictive emotions, then they start having conflicts, diseases, and sorts of more problems, internally and external, both of them. Without having a knowledge or recognizing the internal enemy, we are not able to rescue yourself from the suffering. You have to work within yourself. It means you have to recognize your own enemy, the real enemy which is within you, which are the three poison: desire, anger, and ignorance. If you open, there are more. There are 9 of them, like jealousy, aggressivity, and sorts of selfishness, ego. So one who really understands that these are the real enemy, and if they work on it to avoid it, to make distance between the mind and the afflictive emotion, then they will find a path of joy and the healing. If we say that pain is necessary to grow, it means to become a good person, right? So it means like we need to find a pain. We human, not only human, every sentient being, we don't want suffering. We don't want pain. We don't have to look for a pain to become a good person, right? But we have to find out the causes of pain. If we try to find the cause of that pain, then we start avoiding, and then if we start working on it, definitely we will able to find ourselves much better person, or you can say we can find a way out of that pain. But if we stuck only on the pain, that is not a solution, because we don't want pain. That is the thing that we don't want. We want to avoid. If we work on it slowly, then we find a causes, and if we work on that causes, then definitely we'll find a way out of it. Definitely we need prayers, right? But with the reason, right? With the causes. Without reason, that doesn't work. For example, the Buddha had told us that I had showed you the path to go out of the suffering and to reach the Buddhahood. I told you all the explanation how to walk on that path. Now it's up to you to walk on that path or not. If we don't work by within ourselves, if we don't walk, the prayer doesn't help us to reach our destination, right? You want a wonderful flower in your garden, but on the stone. If you pray, may I have a beautiful flower on the stone, the prayer never works, where there is no reason. So if you want to have the flower, you have to bring some earth, then you have to plant a seed, then you have to pour water every day, and then if you pray, then definitely you will get the flower. So that is why we say, if you want that your prayer work, you have to practice on it. It means you have to act on your prayers. So if you don't act on your prayer, it doesn't work. Exactly like a stone and the flower. If you want to get enlightenment, then you have to pray that may I get succeed, may I get courage, may I get strength to continue my walk or my journey on the way of enlightenment. So in that way the prayer works. When we are talking about the crisis, it's not only in the West. If we see deeply, all the samsara people are suffering, right? In a different way, but we all are suffering. Not only the human being, even the animals, even the other being. Even we are suffering, we want to avoid the suffering and we want to achieve the happiness. So even we want, and then in our daily life, we work hard, we do many different activities to avoid the suffering. But we give lots of importance on external world. Definitely it might give you a happiness or it might give you a satisfaction for the moment. But after some time the moment will change and then suffering or changement. And it will bring a new different kind of suffering. So whenever we are trying to run or try to find a solution of all the suffering externally, you don't achieve the real happiness that you are looking for. And each achievement of external world, it transforms into another type of suffering. Being a Buddhist, what we teach people, what we learn, that the real problem creator is not external, is within us, with our mind. Those afflictive emotions, that desire, anger, ignorance, jealousy, selfishness, ego, source of, they polluted our mind. So we use all this afflictive emotion towards others. So that's bring all the negative energy. That makes difficult situations in society. That makes a crisis in relationship. If we want to achieve happiness, we have to learn, we have to know what is the altruistic behavior, the behavior of love, behavior of compassion. We must have to understand what is kindness. We will able to generate the altruistic behavior only when we recognize the real enemy, which is within us, which we say the afflictive emotion. So until or unless if we don't recognize them, we are not able to avoid, we are not able to control them. So for that reason, first of all, we have to understand why we are suffering. We found the causes. So when we have awareness in our mind, then we put a brake, a controller. Slowly, when we start learning to control all the afflictive emotion, then there is space for altruistic behavior, behavior of love, behavior of compassion. So when you generate love and compassion, first of all, your mind is peaceful. You are a calm person, right? And then you can give a beautiful environment to others. If you need to work for the suffering, not externally, first you work within yourself, then definitely you will find a great result. When we are talking about the reincarnation, our body is not taking a reincarnation. Reincarnation is taken by our mind. So when we are talking about mind is just a clear light. The nature of mind is just a wind, just air. For example, right now as a human being, when we consider ourselves a human, we are not one solid thing. In our body there are 5 different elements and there are 25 different senses. When these 25 different senses with the 5 different elements, if combines together, then we consider ourselves as a human. So we can hear, we can listen, we can see, we can taste, and we can tell different senses. We can memorize, we can remember the things. So these are the senses. When we die, we have to leave our body. It means we are leaving the 5 elements. And that when our 5 elements are not function, the 25 different senses are also not working. When we make a new journey for the new life, the mind, which is just the air, with all the merits of karma, good karma, bad karma, and we take a new body. We are trying to find a new body considering what you had collected with the karma. The mind is only a air. There is no sense. Sense will give you when all the 5 elements comes together, and then with the 5 elements, all the 25 sense comes together, then it works. That is the recognition. Why we don't remember it? Because when we travel to one life to another life, we are not traveling with the body. We are not traveling with the sense. So we have to leave our sense with our body. We are traveling with our own pure mind, and definitely with the different karmas, good and bad, all the imprints we are carrying in a new life. Just to understand it very clearly, we give an example. When we get older, our senses get weaker depending on our 5 elements. So when our elements have a less work, less strength, the sense start leaving our body. When you go older and older, you start forgetting things. When you are young, you had the strength, your memory is much more brighter than you're old. At the time, you are not dead, you're still alive, but your strength of your body is not the same as the before. So when it gets weaker, your strength gets weaker, your sense gets weaker. So even when you are alive, you don't remember the full. So when we die, we have to leave everything, our body and the different sense, and it's only the traveling of the mind. That is why we ordinary person don't remember. We don't remember our past life. Of course, we need food in our spiritual path, because spiritual path is we are going to do with our body, right? If there is no body, there is no spiritual path, that we can't follow the spiritual path. So that is why the food is very much necessary, because food is the one who gives the strength, who gives you the good health. If you have a good health, you have a strong mind. With the strong mind, you have a good concentration. With the good concentration, you have a good motivation to do everything. So that is why if you don't have food, you don't have health. If you are not healthy, your concentration is weak. You are not in a condition to practice. So to have a good health, food is very needed. So there is a strong connection. As we have an opportunity, so I would like to just to explain more about it, because this is 21st century, and as we all know, the world become very small, and His Holiness always gives the same message to each and everyone, that this is time of sharing, right? So in this world we have lots of religions, right, and each religion is presenting for a mankind to help and like to give happiness. So there, like we all human being, every day we are working, we are creating, we are developing, we are doing something very new to achieve the happiness. Somehow it gives you satisfaction for the moment, but it transforms again into a pain, again into a suffering, right? So even His Holiness always says that we have to find the real cause of all the suffering. So being a Buddhist monk, in a Buddhist teaching, it always mentioned in a very clear words that all the suffering, who is the creator of samsara, is the afflicted emotion. Those are the anger, desire, and ignorance, and attachment, sorts of things. There are 9 of them. So whenever a human, we start using this afflicted emotion, thinking or considering that is I, and it always creates lots of problem. For example, the anger. When we get angry, right, and we consider it's me that I'm getting angry, the angry never bring peace. There is not even a single person who can say that when I get angry, I really enjoy. No one, because angry make you suffer, and you are suffering definitely you are the one that you are suffering more, and you are make other people suffering, right? So all the afflictive emotion working in that negative way. So if the one president is very aggressive person, right, a lots of anger person, lots of ego one, so that president will take how you say a decision always on the base of angry. So if something, because we are in samsara, so maybe in the border, maybe there are some problems going on, so without using the dialect, without using the peaceful mind, if the president had start replying on the aggressive or in the hatred way, on the anger way, by using his own afflictive emotion, this emotion will be cause of several people. That will be the reason of war, of suffering of others. So in the other hand, if the president or if the person have a lot of afflictive, not having a lot of afflictive emotion, altruistic behavior, he can use a different technique with the love, a dialect, using a different dialect to solve the problem, right? So in that way, we must learn in the Buddhism, because in Buddhism philosophy, it had been mentioned very clearly that all the trouble, all the problem, all the suffering is not created externally. The creator is within us, in individual person. So if each person understand, and if each person start working on the afflictive emotion, they can definitely able to generate the altruistic behavior of love, and then we will able to achieve the word called peace. So if you try to find a peace externally, difficult to find. If we try to find a peaceful internally in individual, in each and every person, definitely one day we will able to find a peace word.